Good morning, everybody. And the print looks like it's in. It's 8:30 on the dot. And let's see. I see a positive reaction. Looks like we're playing around the 65.50 area. And we'll see what happens there. And I'll go through the plan in a minute. Just kind of let's sit around and watch the reaction. Get your popcorn, folks. And 65.50, doesn't that sound crazy? Not a little, not long ago. And didn't 6505 JP Morgan, which I should have marked on this thing, but I didn't. Bad. My bad. You should have that emblazoned in your brain anyway. Well, I don't know if you should, but one would hope. That 6505 is now the floor, not the ceiling. Of course, anything could happen, but it's kind of looking that way. Okay, so some of you, and then we'll go on, might notice I have these little IC whale, these little upside down whales here, and I'll tag the IC whale and mess with him later today on Twitter. So he calls it a reverse iron condor, which makes me laugh because iron condor is a structure, and structures are typically in the options world considered long unless they're short, or at the very least, the structure is the name of the structure, and then you're long the structure or short the structure. So you can be long an iron condor or short an iron condor. Reverse iron condor is a very amateur way of saying it, but I guess his service appeals to selling to amateurs, and so they call the reverse iron condor cool. Anyway, be that as it may, the IC whale today is back with a long iron condor, 2530 call, and 6500, 6495 put. Five wide, same 350 risk. Normally, when he sells an iron condor, it's 350. He gets $1.50 credit, so there's 350 risk on either side. So it's the same trade, only on the long side, not on the short side. Same exact trade in terms of risk reward. And here he's buying the expected move instead of selling it. That's really all the trade is. It's not rocket science. So anyway, and it looks like he's going to get his $1.50 profit. He needs to close over 30. Okay, so enough of him. Let's get back to us. So what's the path? Well, stall right around where we are now, 45.50. Big level, big number. But let's look at options depth for a minute. And first, let me look at the. They better not be doing that bullshit again. Here we go. Okay, so where are we now? We're at 50-ish, right? So 45 is market maker long. So we know that that's a stall sticky zone. Market makers hedge opposite the direction of the move. So we move up, they sell. So this is pre-market nonsense. So we don't really know how this is going to shake out. But let's just start from where we are for the sake of discussion. If we stay over the 64.45, gotta kind of fight through another 5 or 10 points of customer short calls, market maker long. But this is local. I always talk about the local trading. So if people come in and buy calls around here, this stuff gets eaten up. So over 50, there's a path to 60, not big, but if we just kind of look at the shape, 45, 60, 75. So if we can find our way up to 60, but then we kind of get in the orbit of the 75s, which impels selling. And so we get this sticky zone, we'll say between 50 and 75 in the middle, if we could stay up here. And you bounce around here, then it depends if people buy or sell around here. If we fail here at 45, we stall out here at 45, 50, and then that fails, then there's a path down, market makers hedge in the direction when they're short, a path down toward 20. Could stop anywhere along the way. 25 might be a nice place to stop. And then below 20, we kind of have this stall at 65.10-ish, near where we closed yesterday. And then here we have the IC whales, reverse iron condor, chuckle smirk, long put debit spread at 6,500. Now, let me show you this because this is cute. A funny thing happened on the way to the reverse iron condor, so to speak. 65.20. 25 rather. What do we see here? Only 40 sold calls. Wait, what happened to the 1,500 that he bought? Well, guess what? He bought one stuff that you and I sold or somebody else sold. Remember, open interest is what's open, and if people sold it, open interest that you see in the chain is what's open. If I sold it, you bought it, and we each did 2,000 contracts, it shows 4,000, but that's not what market makers have to hedge. Somebody sold the 25s, the IC whale bought them, and so basically from a hedging point of view, there's a void here. There's not customer longs here. And the 30s that he sold as part of the debit spread, well, he sold them and people bought those and more. So the influence of the IC whales long debit spread is going to be interesting, but it's basically neutralized. It's basically nothing. It's basically nothing. On the bottom, his puts joined forces with other people that were long at 6,500 put, no big shock. And here's the put debit spread. So if we should kind of crap the bed, there is a path down in this direction towards 6,500. It's funny to think of 6,500 as, oh man, we're going all the way down to 6,500, 6,505. JP Morgan collar is having an effect already, and it will continue to have an effect. And below 6,500, again, 95, there's not a lot. Just depends on local trading. And 75.80, this was a local low last 2 days down here. Potential spam is calling me. Well, it actualized its potential because it's spam. And that's that. That's that. So 75. So where was that local low? So here's that local low last 2 days. This week is down around here, 80-ish. And we had the low last Friday around 40. We undercut the 40 and came back to 50. And 64.50 was a lot of back and forth trading for a while. And so those are kind of the main levels for today. And of course, with all the news, et cetera, who knows? Uh, Last word about Oracle, and then I'm gonna turn the mic over. Oracle blew the doors off, quote unquote, in case anybody missed it. We did a little trade just for fun. I wanted to demonstrate how you sell volatility and go long instead of buying volatility, instead of selling volatility by taking the risk of selling a whatever, a call or a put. And so what we did, I showed the kids. Oh crap! Hold on. Let me get this off the stage. I'm going to shut up for a second. I'm going to let Bad Hombre speak while I do this. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope that some of you guys capitalized on those longs yesterday or calls, whatever it is you trade. Great movement after the day was over. Today, same thing. I'm looking for longs, not shorts. I could see shorts at open, which would be the same kind of playbook as yesterday. I'm not going short unless we break below 65.10 ES, which would be 65.05 SPX.
Because JP Morgan collar.
Yeah. Um, you know, in the morning, I missed out on some shorts, given that I was waiting for longs, but can't complain on the money that was made onto the upside. So I'm pretty directional here. And I'm looking forward to seeing how far to the upside we go. Last bull run, I was on the other side. I always thought this is the top, and I missed out on that run. So won't be doing that this time.
Okay. And so I have an ES chart up here real quick. So JP Morgan level is down here. Did you say anything about 65.30? Because I see like some kind of line here.
65.30 ES or
Yes. I have an ES chart up now.
Yeah, 65.30. I'd like that as a balance area. Maybe even a little bit below that, but
Okay.
Still, I would wait for that to reclaim and then to get into lots.
Okay.
If we do break below, I might try some shorts down to 65.05 SPX, 65.10 ES, but I'm not holding on to those shorts. I'm taking a quick trim and that's it.
Right. Okay, cool. And I don't know what the PPI print is. It was none of my business. None of my business. It's not my job to analyze a PPI print. If they're moving, if they like it, I like it. If they hate it, I hate it.
I like that.
Okay. Let me get back to the Oracle thing for a second. This is a quick teaching moment. So what did I do with Oracle? This was just to teach the kids. Okay, so Oracle was 240-ish going into the close. And so if I want to sell event volatility, the at the money has the most volatility in it. So I want to sell an at the money call. I'm bullish, which turns out I was right. So then this was just a demo trade. So I bought one strike in the money, sold at the money, cost me $1.25, $125. Right here, Oracle cost me $125. And it's one-to-one risk reward selling the volatility. I don't have to predict how far it's going to go, whatever, because volatility is overpriced. Turned out it wasn't overpriced. I think they had a 10% move priced in. I don't remember exactly, or maybe 15. It was a big move priced in, but it exceeded it. And so that's just another way to sell volatility, taking a directional bet. Okay, so I only did one. It was a demo trade for the kids. 125, make $125. Thank you very much. And that's just kind of the stuff. I don't only do SPX. It's my main thing, but been around the block for a minute or two, so there's lots of ways to skin the cat and make money in the market using options. and using stock. I've been known to buy stock in my career too. Uh, Accessing trading view. You mean the string or the actual trading view link? Oh no. I hope everything's working. But just in case, because I want to make sure that my peeps get what they're supposed to get.
Everything seems to be working fine on my end.
Copy link. Let me copy the link to my trading view and put it in there for my subscribers. I'm just going to put it in the general chat. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Back to the. Okay, so I mean, here's where we are. And the whale is kind of a funny non factor. Let's take a look at a few other things that I haven't checked yet. Uh, my famous VIX VVIX ratio, 6.2. All right, kind of normal, mildly bullish, nothing crazy. Um, Now, I'm not sure what people were seeing. I mean, maybe there's gurus know something I don't know. It's been known to happen. But people were talking about all this hedging going in for the whatchamacallit, for the PPI. And yeah, there was a little bit. But I mean, VVIX went to 95. That's not crazy. So yeah, VVIX went to 95, the demand for volatility, and VIX went all the way. No, that wasn't yesterday, was it? No. VIX didn't even make it to 16, 15.8, when we were kind of at the low of the day. So I don't know what people were seeing. The now interesting, but not surprising, the 9-day VIX was up 6%, while the VIX was up 3%. Again, small numbers just shows that whatever happened was short-term hedging. Longer term, nobody is really scared about this. This is all just, everything's kind of baked in. So it's going to take some kind of surprise to kind of shake things. What's the surprise? I don't know. I'll tell you what I was surprised by. I was surprised by a headline that I saw that that Russia was flying unmanned drones over Poland, a NATO country. Poland kind of shut down their airport and mobilized whoever they mobilized. U.S. Air Force is flying there. After Putin met with Xi and Kim a week ago, remember last time he met with Xi during the Olympics, he attacked the Ukraine. And the market was, oh, okay, we're up 8 points, ES, sigh. So maybe it's nothing. Apparently it is. What do I know? I'm just surprised that, like, when we used to get, 50-point drops on, like, the slightest whiff of a geopolitical headline, now it's like, okay, fine, drones flying over Poland, what's the difference? NATO war, Schmado, what's the difference? So it's just kind of, I just have to kind of laugh. So I guess it's not a headline. Why? Because it didn't affect price. Price makes headlines. And so where are we now? Whoops, what did I just hit? I didn't want to hit that. I want TDEX over here. Where's my TDEX? I'm on PQRS T. That's it's kind of simple today, really. As far as ICs for me, I generally kind of stay away from ICs on event days. I got sold puts. I got sold calls here at 85. Oh, that's for Friday. Okay, so it gives me a long time to think about what I want to do about them. But simple thing to do for now is, whoops, is buy is 75.80 for a buck 70, or turn it into a fly. I might want to start with, might even do something like that. I don't know. I'll see. Let's start off turning it into a fly for starters. So I'll turn that into a fly, and maybe I'll buy something in here. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But as far as today goes, good morning. Oh, hello, my buddy. Is this Paul or is this positive gamma structure dampens vol? Yes. Okay. Let me show you guys what he's talking about. Equal opportunity. So where we are. So notice I used gamma edge yesterday when I was evaluating Oracle, by the way. And what I did, I looked at the 9/12, the Friday, and there really wasn't a lot of stuff here dominated. But of course, all the action was in the monthly with about 30,000 contracts here. That looks like, I'm gonna hope, not that I give a shit, it's the real Michael, the real deal Michael, real deal Holyfield. Um, I'm going to assume that they sold the 15 puts and bought the 15 calls. I hope, but there's 15,000 of each here at 200. So, but other than that, there really wasn't a lot of action in Oracle, surprisingly. And I looked at what the expected move was, 119 points. Crazy, right? But anyway, but getting back to SPX for a second. So Gamma Edge has kind of they have the web app, so you have different ways of displaying the data. And so I'm just going to invert, select. And so here's today. So what Michael's talking about is call dominate, and you can type something in to explain to the folks what we're looking at. And here's that 45 inflection point right here, landscape view. And what I like about when I use this is, again, you can see the path. You can see the path. We're over here, so there's a path into here, stall. Kind of going to be hard. Vol suppressing, like he said, over here. We see below, if we could kind of go ski down the hill this way, we kind of have this inflection point down at JP Morgan. That's kind of how I look. And then, of course, you can select a few tiles. Let's just say go to the end of the week and see what's going on there. It doesn't really change the landscape all that much. And that's it. It's actually relatively simple today. PPI was bullish. Okay, so let's see, what do I want to do for today? Now, of course, even with that whole thing, it's $100 loss. It's not a big deal, even with that 85. And I don't know that we're getting to 85 so fast. So let's look at today. And so let's just see what's going on there. Horrible pullback all the way to 6,500. Oh my God. Market in turmoil. That's not bad. I don't mind that. I'm willing to YOLO that. And on the bottom is actually trickier, but yes, for starters, 85.65. No, okay, hold on. Let's do 85.65. 85.65, 35 cents. No bueno. Okay. See you too, Michael. I texted Taylor, by the way. $90, $70, 45 cents. I'll try and get 50. And on these kind of days, funny things can happen. But the market's telling us that whatever it was. Okay, I show the unusual whales data. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, unusual whales periscope. Here's unusual whales. Let me kind of refresh it. Let me get it off of Greeks to position numbers. And so unusual whales doesn't like update price, so we know that price is, let me just show more strikes. So unusual whales kind of it's showing us that kind of stalling out here at 65.40. Market makers long gamma here, so kind of a lot to fight through. And the big selling is over 75. That's why I'll sell 85. Um, and here, right here at this 50, 55, we have an inflection. If we can get through here, then kind of that's the path, similar to what we saw there. If below 40, which it looks like we're probably going to be, there's kind of a path right down to 25. Not saying that's going to happen, but there's a path down there. There's really not a lot in the way of 25. And then it kind of gets sticky over here. Once we get out of the orbit of this, of the 75s. Oh, and I didn't put the deltas in. Let's just check the deltas real quick. So 65, so it's 65, 70 is like the 15, 20 delta area. So that's kind of where we would expect, even if we kind of went crazy, for us to slow down. Here's 55 is the 35 delta. That's the expected move. That's inside the expected move area. On the bottom, 65.10. There's really nothing. So the big delta strikes are 25, which is a 22 delta. 75, which is a 10 delta, is nothing, a nothing burger. And that's it. It's surprisingly clean day, so to speak, today. What am I looking for here? Let's go to this. While we're at it, is there anything else we want to look at? Oh, let's take a look at this. I haven't looked at this in a while. What I used to do in my youth, before I had options depth to give me like better numbers, and I used to do this. I used to want to look at, I still do, the pre-market volume. And I think it's 9 o'clock. This is giving me pre-market volume. And here on the call side, we have volume here at 65.25, 65.10, 6,500 on the call side. Not sure what they're doing there. I just kind of look at this to try to get a feel for the distribution. And what are they doing on the put side? Because that's going to be more interesting. 6,500 put side, so maybe people are selling strangles, straddles. 65.40 at the money puts. Oh, look at this. 65.40, 95. That looks like a big trade of some sort. But we have 40.45. Now somebody I think sold an in the money put spread for today. I got the late breaking news on that yesterday. I'm going to want to find out about that. I think they sold a 65. Let me take a look if I see it on the chain here. Yeah, puts 65.45. Somebody sold in the money puts yesterday. $2,000. And there's the opposite side of that trade. They bought, they sold 45.40 put spreads. So when you sell it in the money spread like that, that's like, again, another way to go long. So just to illustrate, that was deep in the money. So let's just kind of basically, they probably got close to $4, almost $5 for it, and they could buy it back for 230 right now. So it's actually a clever trade, or was it a 45.40? So it's even a cleverer trade, and that's another way to skin the cat. So there's lots of ways to play this game with options. That's why I love them. Always fascinating. So many different ways to express a view. And that's it for now. Okay, everybody, I'm going to hop early. Anyone else want to say anything? David, you got anything you'd like to say?
No, just like you, I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward day.
Yeah. I mean, the only, do we close flat? Do we hit 50? We probably, I would think, test 50. Have to see what the volume is. And like I said, I'll end up kind of closing with this where I started. And that is,
I think the move of the day has already occurred.
I think that's probably a reasonable assumption.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys see these tails? Hold on. Let me zoom in so people watching can see. See these tails? So these are markers, they call it. So customers were long here, now they're short here, whatever. Over here at 50, people were short, some of those were bought back. 45s were short, the tails, some of those are closed. Don't know if it's the same people, doesn't really matter. The 40s that were long, some of those closed as well. And so I'm saying that to say this, these tails during the day are going to tell us where they're buying, where they're selling, and what might get eroded or what might get strengthened. Typically by 9:45, 10 o'clock the latest, we've been seeing, usually they start off with 5 or 7,000 5 wide iron condors, not the icy whale, whoever it is. I think it's the people who are hacking me because they end up being at the same strikes that I end up being. Um, we'll see them, that was a joke. We'll see them selling whatever for 7,000, then we end up with maybe 20,000 contracts sold wherever they're sold. I'm guessing it's going to be that 85 area. I have no way of knowing. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere down 80, 75, wherever they can get their juice. I think they go for like 50 cents on these. So, I mean, if I had to guess, they go for 50 cents. So I'm just curious. They might do something like this. Something like this. 75 or 80 on top, and 95 is on the bottom. They go they get about 50 cents for these. And they do 20,000 of them, and they take their $50 times 20,000 and call it a day. So far, they haven't gone broke yet. But even if they get beat once, that's, yes, 10 times the risk. But so far, they've won, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 times. So they're still way ahead of the game. Yes, the EM was accomplished in the pre-market. However, the options, the options market isn't saying we're not going anywhere. The option market is still pricing in $18 move if you look at ES. So the option market is still saying we're going somewhere 18 points, down or up. I don't know. I didn't look at the EM last night. We could probably check EMCO on Twitter. He does night to night. He's a buddy. And he puts that out. And so it depends on like when you measure it. Oh, speaking of when you measure it, 65.75, the expected move from last Friday to this Friday, it's suddenly looking awfully close. Usually we don't exceed this here. In August, we exceeded it by a little bit. Here, we just ducked over it or under it. Here, once in a while we exceed it, usually not. So we'll see. A lot of football left to be played. And that's it. I threatened to leave, and I'm really signing off. Okay, take care, everybody.